Hey, this is referee Tony S., the initial official from Check in the Booth podcast, and you're listening to the Top of the Morning podcast presented by TopRopeReport.com.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a very happy Thanksgiving. This is the Top of the Morning podcast, presented by TopRopeReport.com. I, of course, am your host, Eric Ames, and we are back for episode 9, a holiday edition of the show. Was very lucky and very nice of our guest this week, Dan Eastwood, who is the site designer for TopRopeReport.com, and a good friend of mine. Like I said, very nice and generous of him to join me on the holiday for a little chat ski with his boy EA. So in this week's episode, we talked about a little bit of different things than usual. Some of the usual, some of the not so usual. So we started off with some more fantasy football, which it's not going so well for Mr. Eastwood and myself this year. Not sure why we talked about it, but in any case we did. We also got into some kind of tech stuff with the Dan working as a web designer and designing the layout and the entire site of TopRopeReport.com, which I certainly couldn't do without his expertise. Definitely not up my alley, that kind of stuff. It's not my Matt Forte, we'll say. So we get into some of that, some of the things that people don't really think about that go into making a website. But then we do get into some wrestling stuff. Dan has kind of fallen out of watching wrestling. He started watching during the Attitude Era. So we talk a little bit about that, what brought him back into watching over the last couple of years. And, of course, we get into some Survivor Series stuff, talk a little bit about Raw and SmackDown this week. So, yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it. Dan's one of the funniest guys I know, which he tells a pretty good horror story about one website that he had to design. So yeah, give it a listen, everybody. I hope you all enjoy it. Here's my little interview session with the TopRopeReport.com site designer, Mr. Dan Eastwood. Okay, everybody, I am joined today by the site designer for TopRopeReport.com. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for, over 10 years now. Yeah, at least. Mr. Dan Eastwood is on the phone with me. Dan, thank you so much for spending some time with your boy on Turkey Day.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Did you have any, I know you said something about you were doing like a dinner or a lunch this weekend, so what did you do today? Just kind of lounging it?
Yeah, I forgot that my family and I, we have Thanksgiving on the following Saturday, so everyone can get together or whatever, and I forgot that stores really aren't open today. Food.
Yeah.
I take that back. I have like a chicken breast and a little bit of bacon, I guess. And some barbecue chips. So,
I should have threw you an invite. I didn't even really think about it because I had a lunch earlier, and my parents are part of the Odd Fellows, which is like I want to say it's kind of like the it's kind of like an Elks thing, but they do a lot more like charity stuff, and they had a huge lunch, so I spaced it on you, brah.
Awesome.
So yeah, right now, of course, everybody knows, obviously, we're talking about Thanksgiving that we record on Thursdays, and I've got football on in the background right now. It's halftime of the Redskins and Cowboys, and we've talked before on the show when I've had Doug and Joshua on about our 12-team fantasy league that we're doing. I'm not sure I want to bring this topic up with you, Dan, because things aren't going so well for either one of us right now.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, last week was one of my worst weeks ever. I think I lost like 50-something to 40-something.
I think you only had like 40 points.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah, the way that our league works is it's 12-team standard. We got 3 divisions of 4. Our 3 division winners and a wild card go into what we call the championship round of the postseason. So both of us are clearly eliminated from that because I'm sitting at 5-6. Dan's at 4-7. Even though you beat me earlier this year too, like.
Yeah. I'm on a hard 5-game losing streak here. So.
Oh man, see, I'm on my best winning streak of the season so far. 2 games. So yeah. So that pretty much sums it up. Did you have anybody playing today?
I have Roethlisberger tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? I'm projected for 100 points this week, far and away the farthest, or the highest I've ever had.
Yeah.
But holding on to Thomas Rawls was turned out to be a good idea.
Yeah, that proved to be clutch because looking at your team, like for the most part of the season, I think I even offered you numerous trades, like trying to snag Julio off of you because I thought that you needed a running back.
Oh yeah.
So that will.
He's been my savior so far.
Yeah, that will definitely be clutch for you. I played Kyle Rudolph earlier, even though I have Tyler Eifert, because Eifert was getting double teamed a lot after AJ Green got hurt. So I went with him. He had 9 catches, but only 64 yards. So I mean, a bit of a gamble, but it kind of worked out a little bit. I got Robert Kelly, who's been a revelation, and like I don't know where the hell that guy came from. But he last week I was down by 60 points heading into the later games, and I had Aaron Rodgers and Robert Kelly, and they scored 60 points. So it ended up being tied, and of course I was playing Blake, and I had Lamar Miller left, so he was pretty much cooked. So yeah, I got Kelly going right now. Last I checked, he wasn't doing too great, but where we're both eliminated from the actual championship, I think. I'm still in contention for our middle bracket, which the other 8 teams that don't make the championship round, 4 of them go into a consolation, and then 4 of them go into, if you watch the league on FX, which is no longer on anymore, we call our bottom bracket the Andre Nosedick bracket, which you might be heading towards, Dan. I don't know.
I think I got a couple guys, like Dixon's back now too. Maybe I can make a late push to not be last place.
I think.
So let's hope for that.
Yeah, I think those other 2 guys in your division are pretty much solidified to be down in that bottom 4 because there's only 2 games left this week and next.
Yeah.
They are only a game behind you though, so that kind of hurts.
I'm playing one of them too right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the tiebreaker situation is on it. I'd have to look into it on that one, but yeah, I made a big trade this week, which I'm hoping will help me out, which was something that I was trying to do, which you can vouch for me. I was trying to make a trade like this all year long, where I finally got that elite wide receiver. It's just there's only 2 weeks left in the season now, so.
Yeah.
I think that's a good move for me, though. I gave up Demarius and Rashad Jennings for Odell Beckham, so I think that's going to...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's a great trade.
Yeah, the Giants are making a push right now, too, so...
Yeah. See, I was...
Great deal.
I was a little sneaky about it, because... I probably shouldn't be revealing this. Hopefully, the guy that I traded with isn't listening. Because he might might be a little butthurt, but what I did is I took Robert Kelly out of my flex and I put Rashad Jennings in there because Rashad Jennings is, he's been kind of hot lately, and he was projected 13 this week, which I had no intention of ever playing Rashad Jennings, but by putting him in there, I was like, all right, it's going to make it look more tantalizing because it's two of my starters that I'm trading. So yeah, kind of a snaky move, but that's a veteran move, if you ask me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, enough about our crappy fantasy football seasons. Dan, the real topic today is actually yourself, because you are the site designer for TopRopeReport.com, which I don't know if I've actually ever told you this before, but I get nothing but positive feedback on just the overall design and the layout and the look and the color schemes, so definitely got to give you props on that one.
Oh, thanks, man. I wanted it to be great, so...
So why don't you,
put everything I have into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about what you do that I know absolutely really nothing about this. What I brought to the table was everything but really the computer design part of it. I've obviously learned now from you on how to do it, but, what exactly is it that you kind of do? Because I know you do this for a living. Like, how difficult is it to interpret what people are telling you that they want to see? Like, because on ours, you nailed it on the first try, so that can't always be the case.
Oh, no. In fact, most times it's not. It really depends on what kind of person the other person is that you're working with. When I worked with you, it was really, we had that connection already. We've been friends for so long that I can kind of sense what you were going for. When I'm at work, I work for a internet marketing company, and we'll have clients that'll call in, and they don't really know what they want. I don't know them personally, so it's definitely tough to figure out what somebody wants. But in this case, I think our friendship really helps to solidify what you wanted, and I think we got pretty good product out of it.
Right. Yeah, I tried to make it as easy as possible too, because if I'm remembering right, I think I even showed you a site that I was like, I want it exactly like this, and then I think I might have gave you like my business card possibly for the color scheme, and I don't think I changed anything except for there might have been like a background or something, but yeah, pretty much the first try. So definitely, I think the fact that we knew each other too, like it made it a lot easier. It was business, but it wasn't like really business. Yeah,
exactly. Like I knew how to talk to you already. I was already, I had a base with you.
Right.
And that totally helps.
Right. So what are I know that you do have. I know you can't really give any names, but you do have a hilarious horror story about one website that you designed that I would love for you to tell while keeping it as PG as possible, if you are aware of which story I'm talking about. I can't think of off the top of my head. There was a doctor's office that you told me that you did one for a bit of a rejuvenation procedure.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh my god! These, some of the people that I work with, they're very, very. They want perfection, really. And I've worked on a couple like gynecology websites, and trying to formulate the sentence without being too revealing. But definitely had to do before and after pictures on a gallery for labiaplasty, which go ahead and look that up after.
If you want nightmares.
It's horrifying. Yeah. And I remember the doctor specifically asked, like, "Oh, can we password protect this page so that like boys that are looking up stuff online can't find it?" And I just remember just being like, I promise you, nobody is looking up labiaplasties, and if they did, it's gonna change their life forever.
Oh man, I had to squeeze that in there because it's too funny. In addition to knowing you for a long time, I know not too many people. Generally, this is kind of an out there thing for us to do on the podcast. Generally we focus on the wrestling part of it, which we will get to. That's one of the main reasons why I felt like I wanted to have you on here, is because Dan is one of the funniest characters I have ever known, and we know quite a few of them. So stuff like that,
True.
we had to squeeze that in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bad one. It changed my life. I know that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you didn't immediately pull that one right up to show me, which is generally the kind of thing that we do to each other.
Yeah.
So aside from that, I know that you do kind of have your own website going on. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. It's DanEastwood.com. Just DanEastwood.com. My middle name's an S. Works out. I haven't had a chance to really update it in a while. I've had some pretty big life stuff happening in the past year or so. So, kind of getting myself back together. I went through a divorce. I went out and bought a condo and kind of rebuilding my life piece by piece.
Right.
So I'll be getting back into that quite a bit here in a few.
Yeah, sorry about that, by the way, Dan. I couldn't take sleeping in the same bed with you anymore. So I had to.
Oh, it's understandable, man. I get it.
You're too hairy for me, bro.
Yeah, I generate a lot of heat. It's gross.
Well, that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. Is just because you've talked to me a little bit about what you want to do on there, and I'm looking forward to it, to say the least. There's definitely going to be some entertaining and some funny content.
Oh yeah, man.
Which
I'm pretty good in Photoshop. And by pretty good, I don't want to brag, but awesome at Photoshop. And I just don't have the computer right now to really do what I want. And probably get my taxes back, all that. I'll invest in a nice computer and just pump out just graphics.
Right.
That's what I love. It's graphic design.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm not too strong at. Obviously, we have T-shirts and stuff like that, and we got our logo, which I obviously had to hire out for that. So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing one of the shirts right now. The Get on Top. New Day.
Shirt. Which is a good way to transition into a cheap plug, because right now the TRR shop has slashed 30% off of everything for the whole weekend. So hashtag Get on Top, people.
Yeah, and you know what? These things are awesome quality, I gotta say.
Yeah, especially the hats. The hats are.
I was waiting for you to come out with the hats.
Yeah,
you know that.
We only got a limited number of those, but those are très comfortable. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and not having hair on my head, I'm a hat guy, and this is I give my props to these hats.
Right, it's a bald guy's best.
Bald guy approved.
Bald guy approved. Exactly. You heard it here first, folks. So look at that, cheap plugs, and that wasn't even planned.
Nope.
All right, so let's go ahead and actually get into some wrestling now, because not only do you do website design, but one of the things that we have in common, along with our love of New England sports, is pro wrestling, which I don't think, I'm trying to recall like some of the first interactions that we ever had back in the day, and I don't believe that we ever knew that the other one was a fan of wrestling until like later on. I don't know if you remember at all.
Yeah, I don't really. I remember in our group of friends, like coming in at lunch in like 7th and 8th grade and talking about it, but it was always like a big group of people, you know.
Right. So that's
I don't.
That's earlier than I even remember. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much when I first started getting into it, about 7th or 8th grade. Oh, God, what year was that?
So that would have been
1997, maybe.
Yeah, that would have been 97, 98. So like a lot of people, you kind of first got into watching during the Attitude Era, of course, which was will go down as probably the biggest boom period in the history of wrestling. Of course, a lot of that had to do with what WCW was doing at the time. But what are your first kind of memories of watching wrestling, and what was it about that time period for you that really sucked you into it?
Sure, yeah. I actually, I started watching WCW first, and it was kind of, I was flipping through the channels. I saw Goldberg on there. He's actually what really pulled me in. He was starting his undefeated run there and just destroying everybody. But I was flipping through the channels, put it on, and at first I'll be honest, I didn't really get into it. I grew up. My dad didn't really get into wrestling. I didn't really have a base of wrestling at all. And I started watching. I was like, this is. And I was flipping around the next week. Came on again. Goldberg's on. Spear, jackhammer, awesome. Just destroyed somebody. I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And then 4 or 5 weeks later, I'm completely invested into it. Oh my God, I gotta see what happens next. And then it just took off from there. And then, I got into WWE, and it was completely sucked in.
Yeah, I remember. I remember one of the earliest memories I have of meeting you. Actually, that I had slipped my mind. That does have to do with wrestling. Was your impression of The Rock?
Oh God!
With the over exaggeration of the head movement and eyebrow and yeah. So okay, I definitely that one just kind of popped up while you were talking about that. You're definitely not the only one. I think during that time period, a lot of people I know. Everybody knows Doug Barrow, who writes for us and has been on the podcast multiple times, and really, prides himself on being a WCW mark. That he got into it in WCW at first as well, much like a lot of people. And then, of course, once they lost momentum, everybody swapped over to WWE. So yeah, I was definitely watching during the Goldberg times. I would flip back and forth, but. Nitro was definitely kicking ass at that point. So
with the NWO there and everything, they were awesome.
Exactly.
They had a lot of good things going for them back then.
Yeah,
just
the inclusion of the cruiserweights and just a lot of people will say that WCW didn't create any new stars and only relied on the established stars like Nash and Flair and Macho and all those kind of guys, except for Goldberg. But a lot of the guys that, you would end up seeing become stars later on in WWE, nobody knew who they were until they were in WCW, like your Chris Jericho's, your Eddie Guerrero's, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, all those kind of guys. So yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
WCW definitely. They definitely had a lot of momentum at that point in time, and were really putting it to the WWE. So I know you kind of fell out of it a little bit after, I guess, I want to say we were still watching a little bit around 2003, 4-ish, before I actually moved away. And then you kind of fell out of it for a little while, which I think was kind of the case for a lot of people. So what was it that, did they just not have you invested in it anymore? Was it just because the Monday Night Wars was over and it wasn't the same, or was it just because getting older?
Yeah, I think, it's a mix of all that really. WCW was kind of going away. We were graduating high school. We had new lives essentially. The Rock left. That was a big one for me, I think. When we started doing movies, and
not only Rock, but Rock and Austin. Rock and
yeah, right.
both left.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, two huge stars that I loved both of them. That, in combination with just a bunch of life changes, it just kind of went to the back burner, and I would follow it every now and then. I'd check in, but I definitely missed a lot of, I missed the whole Daniel Bryan thing. I missed the Shield. I wish, actually, having the network, I've gone back and watched a lot of those matches that I missed, which are awesome, but, I missed a lot of pivotal history.
Right. Yeah, I always tell anybody, we have some mutual friends that have just kind of started getting into wrestling as well, or just anybody randomly who might be open to watching it, who's never seen it. People like to binge watch, and I tell them, you have a never-ending binge watch rate on the WWE Network.
Oh yeah,
it's the longest-running weekly episodic show in history of Raw, and right behind that is SmackDown, and you can go as far back as the network will allow you to, and basically watch years and years and years and never run out of material, and it's a continuous storyline over however many long period you begin to start watching at. So
yeah, and going back and watching some of those, it just brings back so many memories. And sometimes, usually my routine when I get home from work is I'll make dinner, I'll throw on a video game, and I'll have something playing, like a video in the background. And a lot of the times it's old, episodes of Raw, back in the day. And I'll just keep watching those in a row. Mm-hmm. And it's great. I love it.
Something that I actually found myself doing, or started a while back, was I started at the beginning of Nitro, and then watched them all, and also along with the pay-per-views in between, and just kind of followed it from there, because I know once the WWF really started whooping on them, some of those later years, there was a lot of stuff I didn't see, which I know some of it's really bad, but still, it's new to me, and I can't get enough of it or learn enough about it, so so it's perfect.
Yeah, the storylines are super interesting. It's fun to go back and rewatch some of that stuff that I watched when I was like a kid.
So you obviously recently started getting back into it again, as much as you possibly can. So aside from, I guess, being around the inner circle of friends, I suppose, what was it that really kind of drew you back into it to watch, when it's not like me and you and a couple of other friends, when, you're just sitting at home by yourself?
Yeah, very similarly to how I originally got into it. I'd either be there when you guys are watching it, or, I'd throw it on myself for a second. Same thing, I was like, oh, who are these guys? What's even going on? I don't know what's going on. And I was like, this is dumb again, But then, after a few weeks, you start getting into it again. There's just something about it. I can't really put my thumb on it. It's just I need to know what happens.
Right.
And I don't know, it just hooks me every time.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly the reason why I keep watching, even, through some of the really bad years, before you started watching, from, the early to mid-90s. There was some pretty rough times, but, it's like the combination of athleticism and the characters and the sport / story part of it, there really is nothing like it. It's really hard to explain to somebody that doesn't watch, you know what I mean? They just don't get it. I know there's like a lot of TV shows that you like really get into, a lot of the same ones as me, like Lost and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's just something about like whether it's Raw or SmackDown that keeps drawing you in. You know, they have this innate ability that other shows don't have, that they can introduce new characters and have this like constant stream of running storylines. You know.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain, but you either like it or you don't. It's definitely the truth.
I compare it a lot to, like, I put these two shows in the same category, Seinfeld and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Once you get the characters and what you get what the show is, you can't get enough of it.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, so this is awesome.
Yeah, I think that for a lot of people, like, once you can make that switch in your brain to not look at it as like a fight, but to look at it as a storyline, is when you can really start to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's entertainment. You get people that say, "Oh, it's not real." It's like, well, yeah, no fucking shit. But it's all about the story and the entertainment, the showmanship.
Exactly. It's a live action television series. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, excuse me. What are some of the guys that you kind of are into now? You know, obviously you said you were a big Goldberg guy, so I'm sure that Goldberg's return kind of drew you in. But who are some of the superstars that you weren't aware of that kind of drew you back in?
Yeah, some of the guys I wasn't really aware of. I like Kevin Owens a lot. I think he's an awesome heel. I love his like passive aggressive like demeanor.
Yeah.
And to me, he seems like a good wrestler. I don't know. I'm always entertained by his matches.
Yeah.
And his constant like banter in between like moves.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. I know that. I mean, I know that you don't know as in depth, but everything you said about Owens, I would agree with. He's easily one of my favorites right now.
Yeah. I like watching him. I like watching Seth Rollins too.
Agreed.
A lot of the same reasons. He's charismatic. He can play a great heel. And another person that I really like, and I know that Doug would agree with me, is Chris Jericho.
Oh, Doug would.
Back in the day.
Doug would definitely agree.
Oh my god. He is so funny.
Yeah, the angle with him and Owens going on right now is just pure gold. And eventually they're going to break up, that duo. But I'm definitely enjoying it while it lasts. And funny you bring that up, actually, because Doug's most recent column, which we all give Doug a hard time because he pretty much has a hard-on for Chris Jericho. It's really a running gag. His most recent edition of his column, Doug's State Vice, was about Chris Jericho's resurgence this year. So I got to give a shout out to Chris Jericho for giving us a retweet on that, because it definitely helped us out. So shout out to
that's awesome.
Shout out to Y2J on that. Yeah, definitely. I would agree with everything you said about those guys, though. Another guy that I would throw in there, and I'm sure you'll probably agree, is AJ Styles. Obviously. One thing that I know that you don't watch too much of it, but I think that you would love NXT. So I would check that out. Especially.
That's my next.
Yes,
my next.
Especially with Takeover.
Wrestling world.
Especially with Takeover happening this past weekend, that was a great show. I enjoyed that better than Survivor Series, just my opinion. I think that you would dig a lot of the superstars on there, because it's really catered to wrestling fans like you and me, who really enjoy kind of that, I guess, Attitude Era style action, which, obviously they can't toe the line too much with their verbiage, obviously. But on the network, that's really catered to diehards, so I think that would be right up your alley. Guys like Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, of course.
I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, the Sanity gimmick, I think that you would really dig that. So yeah, find some time and check out TakeOver. Not that I need to be giving WWE any plugs.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to check that out. And I'm slowly kind of going there. I'll watch random episodes here and there, and that's exactly how I got into wrestling again. You know, it's a slow progression for me, slow burn, but it'll ignite.
So, speaking of Survivor Series, obviously you watched, and of course we mentioned Goldberg, which the big storyline coming out of Survivor Series was the Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar match, which has a lot of people either up in arms about it, or you're on the other side of the coin and you think that it was great. So, being a guy that kind of came into watching wrestling being a Goldberg fan, and now that he's back and beats Brock Lesnar in less than 2 minutes, what did you kind of make out of all of that?
You know, I like Brock Lesnar a lot. I think when his matches are on, I'm tuned in. You know, I'm watching every move. So like when he has a match, it's awesome for me. When I first started coming back to wrestling again, I watched one of the first pay-per-views I watched was the Brock Lesnar John Cena squash match. And after seeing that, I was like, oh my god, this guy's a monster. And I like seeing him just demolish everybody. I like he's a unique character to me. And that he's a monster. And I like that. And, you know, I like Goldberg too. But that was really short.
Yeah, do you think that Goldberg beating Brock that quickly after Brock has pretty much not lost a match in 3 years? I mean, he technically has a loss to The Undertaker at SummerSlam last year, but it was really, I don't know if you caught that one or not, but it was really controversial, and it wasn't. I don't look at it as a loss, and I'm trying to remember I think the last clean loss that he had might have been against Triple H, which I believe was like 3 years ago. Might have even been longer than that. So after all that, he demolishes Cena for the title. He breaks the streak from The Undertaker. He continuously just destroys everybody, and then he loses to Goldberg in less than 2 minutes. So
yeah, that's the thing too. Like I saw that the Undertaker match, and like he took a lot of punishment, and he won. And then this, he gets speared twice and jackhammered once, and it's, I don't know. It was really fast.
Right.
How they built it up.
Yeah, now that I know that they're leading towards another one, it makes a lot, a rematch possibly at WrestleMania is the talk right now. I'm actually all for that, and it makes the decision for that to happen, it makes a lot more sense to me to do that. I don't think that it takes away from anything that Brock's done to lose like that. I think eventually somebody has to do something to one-up him, and
right.
There's been talk that, there's been reports that Goldberg had kind of a bit of an injury heading into that, so there was talk that didn't play into the decision to have a quick match, but I don't know if I necessarily buy that either.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously Brock was all for it, so he doesn't think that it hurts anything, but of course he is just looking for a payday, so he doesn't really care. But
yeah.
But yeah, now that they're leading into another match between them, I'm fine with it, because originally the plan was for Brock to take on Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, and I don't know how you feel about that, but I have no interest in that at all.
Yeah, that's a little too much. Like, I don't know, like Monday morning quarterbacking it, knowing that that they're gonna have another match, yeah, that makes sense then. I get that. And, it could set up to be something really, really cool. However, I also want to say that I think if Goldberg lost like that, his legacy would have been a little damaged.
Yeah, I don't think that they could have did that with Goldberg. I don't think that he would have ever agreed to that personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely. I think a match between Brock and Shane at WrestleMania is just kind of walking us down a path to another opponent that they make it seem like has a chance to beat Brock, but in reality, he has no chance. Like Shane.
Yeah.
Shane doesn't pose a threat to Brock. But now that they've finally got that loss out of the way, now it's like you can really do whatever you want with Brock again. And then with Goldberg being added to the Royal Rumble, there's been reports that Brock is going to be added as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to the rematch a lot more than I was looking forward to the original match.
Yeah, I would definitely love to watch a rematch. That'd be great.
So I know you said that you also caught Raw this week, and to me the best thing on Raw this week was the highlight reel with Jericho and Owens, of course.
Far and away for me too. Yeah.
So they basically tease breaking up for a good bit, and it looks like even I was starting to buy in. Like, all right, they're actually going to split up right now. And then, of course, they don't. And, just a lot of the same stuff that you said earlier about Owens, like, there's his little side comments and, like, the banter. I don't know. Those guys are magic.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. That whole bit with the TV, too, I was like, it's the 6500. That had me just dying.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So basically that leads into a match for later on in the night where Rollins gets his rematch in a no DQ match for the title against Owens, where Roman and Jericho are supposed to be banned from ringside. But of course Jericho, in a move to, I guess, troll the internet, shows up at ringside in a Sin Cara mask, which I know a lot of people that follow us know the story. Do you know anything about this story that I'm getting into with Jericho and Sin Cara?
No, I don't think so. Oh, didn't they get into like a fight or something backstage?
Yeah. So I'll run through it again real quick. So basically, when they were in Europe last week or the week before, they were all on a tour bus heading from England to Glasgow for Raw. And the story goes that Sin Cara was being loud and obnoxious and annoying everybody on the bus. And Jericho kind of stood up for everyone, piped up, pretty much told them to quiet down, whatever. And then Sin Cara just flew off the handle and swung at him. Supposedly, that's the story anyway. So Sin Cara ends up getting kicked off the bus, has to find a way to Raw. He hasn't been allowed to change in the locker room. He's been having to change with the extras. And then for the Raw in Buffalo, which I believe was last week, he was not allowed to fly with them from Connecticut to the show. He had to take a 6-hour drive. So Jericho shows up in a Sin Cara mask of all things. So I thought that was hilarious. I'm sure now knowing the story, you probably get the reference to it, to why he did that now.
Yes, okay, that definitely makes sense. Yep.
So on Raw, I didn't really feel that great about this week's episode. Like, I don't think there wasn't a lot that stood out to me. It felt really like we're coming off of a pay-per-view episode, and they just kind of threw a couple of things together. Obviously, aside from Jericho and Rollins and Owens, because Jericho's involvement in that match, there's been reports that, they're going to be facing off at Roadblock in December, so that's got to be the beginning of that right there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know, was there anything else on Raw that you can think of that really, kind of lit a fire under your ass, I guess, because there wasn't to me.
The whole, I'm back and forth with these guys. The New Day, sometimes I really like them, sometimes I don't. Right now, I'm in that spot where I'm like, I just want them to break that record and then lose the titles and then kind of do a reset again. Because I don't know, to me, it feels like they're just jammed down your throat. It's like, okay, yep, New Day, they're out again.
Right.
Thing. They're going to win.
I would agree with that. I think it's strange that they're having them defend the titles. Obviously they defended them successfully against Sheamus and Cesaro this week, but they're facing Gallows and Anderson with the titles on the line next week. So I always thought that giving Gallows and Anderson the championships, when they were feuding a couple of months back, was the way to go. So it makes me want to say that they're going to lose them next week, but I can't say that with any confidence because I felt that for all those months that they were in a rivalry against them. So to me, I think that they just need to break that record. Honestly, with them, I think they might as well just hang on to them for another, I don't know, what is it, 4 months or so until WrestleMania, and then just face off against Enzo and Cass, because I don't. Raw's tag team division is so weak right now. I don't know who else you can call a legitimate threat to them aside from Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, and I would love to see that. I was going to say Enzo and Cass. I really enjoy. I like their back and forth. I would like to see Cass maybe try out singles a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think
maybe have.
I think that
Enzo his manager or whatever.
Yeah, I think that you'll definitely see that in the future. There's been numerous reports that the company loves Big Cass. And then back earlier this year when Enzo got concussed at Payback, I think it was, and Cass was on his own for a little bit, they kept pushing him hard. So I think once the well runs dry on Enzo and Cass together, you'll definitely see that. I think I'm not sure how I would feel about that for Enzo. He's so good on the mic that he probably could, hang by himself. But he's just, that's why they work so well together. I don't know. I'm so torn on breaking them up because they're just so entertaining as a tandem.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And Enzo's not great in the ring by any means, so let's just throw that out there right now. Anybody, if you're an Enzo Amore fan, me and Dan are not trying to be a couple of haters, but he's got to work on his in-ring ability.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
So before we wrap things up here, we'll get into a little bit of SmackDown. Which to me has consistently been the better show, and although I feel like they did a little bit of a mail-in job, kind of like Raw this week, not quite as bad, and I still enjoyed it. Enjoyed it more. Do you, coming back in with this brand split as a fan, do you really have a preference between Raw and SmackDown?
I don't have a favorite. There's elements that I like from both. When I was first getting back into it, they were starting to really push Roman Reigns, and I remember you had even mentioned oh yeah, they're pushing this guy. He's going to be the next big thing. So I started kind of investing into following him a little bit. So I like following him and Rollins over in Raw, and obviously I like Jericho and Kevin Owens. But I like SmackDown too. I like Dean Ambrose. I like the wrestling maybe a little bit more in SmackDown. But I'm right in the middle. I like both shows.
Yeah, I'm not a big Ambrose guy, but I'm obviously a big AJ Styles fan. I think SmackDown's women's division is deeper in terms of everybody that they have is a contender aside from Eva Marie, who we haven't seen, in a few months now. And then I could say the same thing about the tag team division as well. They're not all contenders, but I think that it's just a deeper division, more so than Raw, because on Raw, like we just said, obviously your top two are the New Day, and then Enzo and Cass, and then you got Gallows and Anderson, and then you got who? You don't really. You had to throw Sheamus and Cesaro together, which, I mean, you could say that it's working, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of what they're doing. I'd rather see Cesaro on his own. But on SmackDown, the team that you threw together is your most over team that you have, and are the champions in Slater and Rhino, who are hilarious. Hype.
Oh my God, Rhino, yes.
Yeah, Hype Bros. I'm not too big on, just because I'm not really a big Raleigh guy. But the Usos, I love what's happened with the Usos and the change that they've overgone. American Alpha is obviously great and arguably the best team in all of WWE.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just you've got names after names, really. So those are kind of the elements of SmackDown that I enjoy more. And I think that their mid-card situation, or mid-card title, I've always liked the Intercontinental Championship better than the U.S. Championship. And I know that Roman is a top guy and he's holding the U.S. title. I think that brings it more prestige, but I just feel like SmackDown is doing better with, I guess you could say it about all of their storylines, but they're doing better at maintaining a running angle with the Intercontinental Championship as well. But like I said, that's from top to bottom, because a lot of their feuds have been going on for months now, really, when you think about it, and none of them have really gotten stale. Maybe a little bit, but not too bad. Everybody's still invested in the Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles storyline, because they have been keeping it new. They interjected whatever they're calling him, the guy with no chin, James Ellsworth, there, and
no chin music.
Yeah, the no chin music. So yeah, those are the things that I enjoy about SmackDown more, which is the only reason why I think that they did better this week than Raw did. But the action, I think, kind of took a bit of a step down. The main event was obviously the biggest angle of the night, where Ellsworth put his contract up in a ladder match against AJ, which, to nobody's surprise, Dean Ambrose got involved and helped James Ellsworth win, which, if you didn't see that coming, then what are you, a retard or something?
You're at that.
You might be a retard. So yeah, but the match itself was horrible. I don't know if you have any kind of opinion on that. Was there anything on SmackDown to you this week that you kind of sticks out in your memory?
I'm kind of behind. What are they called? American Alpha.
Yeah.
I thought that match was pretty cool.
Oh, the tag team turmoil. Yeah, we haven't seen one of those kind of matches in a long time. That was pretty neat to see.
Yeah. I'm starting to become a fan of them. And it was. Yeah, I definitely enjoy watching them.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people wanting, myself included, for Kurt Angle to come back for some time now, and he's been wanting to be paired up with them as like kind of a manager who only wrestles every once in a great while kind of deal. So I think
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I bring that up because I know that's something that you would probably enjoy if they ever do it. Hopefully they will.
I would love that. Yeah,
it's been
I always liked Kurt Angle.
It's been some time since I heard anything on that front, but so what did you think about? I guess you could call them the Wyatt family of Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton showing up after that match and challenging American Alpha to next week.
I'm 1,000% behind the Wyatt family. I really enjoy when the stables get made and I like it's always like a pipe dream to think about. Like, oh, maybe this person and this person will team up. So I'm 1,000% for that, and I would like to see that match for sure.
Yeah, I keep waiting for, I guess to sound like a corny douchebag, I keep waiting for the Vipers to strike. As you know what I mean. Like I keep.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, it's like a long con.
Yeah, I keep waiting for that to happen because they did something similar with Daniel Bryan a couple of years back in the Wyatt family, where he actually joined them and was wearing the jumpsuit a la Eric Rowan, and
oh wow, really? I didn't know that.
Of course, eventually turned on them. So I keep waiting for that to happen with Orton, but the more that he sticks with Bray, almost the more intrigued I am about it. So I'm not really sure. Like, I know it's going to end eventually, but I think I'm cool with them being paired up right now as well.
Yeah, I like it too. What do you think about the Reigns and Rollins kind of dynamic right now? I kind of like that. How they're kind of teasing them, not necessarily getting back together, but being cool with each other.
Yeah, I think that was kind of inevitable, and I think that they're personally, I'm hoping that they're not going to make Seth so much of a babyface that he's like gonna lose his edge or whatever, or become really kind of cookie cutter like Roman Reigns is. But I think that dynamic between those two, and I know Ambrose is obviously on SmackDown right now, but anything involving the three of them is going to be something that you're going to consistently see on WWE TV for years to come. They're going to be, they're going to be the main event guys, so they're always going to be rubbing shoulders. And, the dynamic of them all being friends again is always something that the company can go back to if they are out of ideas, or, they need to push some merch, or just whatever the reason may be, because
or make people not hate Rollins.
Right.
Or Reigns.
Similar to D-Generation X with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, putting the Shield back together is just something like, that's always that extra chip on the poker table that they're going to have to throw into the pot, I think that's kind of how they're approaching it. So it doesn't really surprise me. My only concern is that Seth doesn't kind of get a negative rub from Roman Reigns, where I think they're trying to do the opposite. Because Roman's obviously still getting booed, I think they're trying to rub off some of the cheers, or because more of the hardcore fans, or the diehards, are really Seth Rollins fans, and were even while he was a heel. I think you even said that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah. It could. And I think maybe what they're trying to do is just getting him to get cheers, right? Exactly. It's. But
yeah, I don't see it lasting long either. They'll eventually move on to other things, and I think very quickly, probably the next pay-per-view, but they'll probably still help each other out or whatever on Raw. But other than that, I don't think there will be a Shield reunion or anything anytime soon. I think it's become a hot topic because of what happened at Survivor Series, where they all teamed up for that. They powerbombed Braun through the table or whatever it was. Or no, it was AJ, I believe. So yeah, that's just kind of a little bit of a nostalgia thing that they're always going to be able to go back to pretty much whenever they want. But yeah, they're both moving on to other things, so.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like it with, maybe obviously with Cena, but I didn't see a whole lot of his years there. I've never seen somebody get booed that badly with Reigns.
That's supposed to be a baby face. Yeah. That kind of stuff really started changing, a little bit before you had gotten back into it, where you have fans like me and you who are older and who watched through the Attitude Era and are always going to kind of yearn and pound on the table for something similar to those days, or just aren't for the same kind of character that Roman or Cena was for all those years, that is not catered to them, you know what I mean? Like, it's really catered to, because they're a publicly traded company now, so the Attitude Era and things like that, you'll never see that again. Like, they might dip their toe into that every once in a while, but you're always going to have a character like a Roman, for the parents who bring their kids and for the not hardcore fans, so, but yeah.
I like that.
A lot of that really started to happen, kind of involving Daniel Bryan, like I said, before you really started getting back in. But yeah, it's kind of, Cena still gets it too. He's just not around nearly as much as he used to be. Now it's pretty much Roman.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. Like, I started watching him when he was kind of on the rise. I had just got in at that just perfect moment. So I don't really have anything against him, and I guess I just don't get why he gets booed. But, looking back in history, like with him and Daniel Bryan, Bryan should have been the champion or whatever. Yeah, I totally get it, but I still feel bad for him.
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not a Roman hater. Like, there's a couple of things about him that I think that he needs to switch up, but other than that, I understand, like, being in the position that I'm in, I kind of have to look at everything, the big picture. I guess. I have my favorites and stuff like that, but I still have to look at everything overall. I can't just be biased, or else I wouldn't be doing my job.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Well, all right, Dan. I think we're gonna get you out of here, buddy. Good stuff. Did you have any kind of social media or anything you wanted to plug other than DanEastwood.com?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm going to be getting back into web and graphic designing. So check out DanEastwood.com.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody go and check that out. And like I said, I'm sure that there will be a lot of great, funny content coming on there. I can vouch for Dan.
Yep.
Easily one of
Yeah, right now it's pretty much straight business, but I'm going to be changing that. I'm going to be opening up like a blog section, so that'll be fun.
Sounds good, man. We'll be on the lookout for that, and I'll definitely probably see you soon.
Cool. Well, have me on again sometime. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'll catch you later.
Cool.
Okay, guys, that was my conversation with the TopRopeReport.com site designer and overall web designer, Mr. Dan Eastwood. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Like I said, he's a very good friend of mine, very funny guy, and again, it was very nice of him to take some time out of his Thanksgiving evening to do the podcast with me. So, before we get everybody out of here, I'm going to give the usual plugs. So I would like everybody to keep reading TopRopeReport.com for all the latest and greatest from the world of wrestling, including news, live results for all the shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. We've got 205 Live coming up this Tuesday, the premiere episode. Also all the pay-per-views. Of course, we just did Survivor Series this past Sunday, and we've got the SmackDown Live exclusive event, TLC, coming up next weekend, so be on the lookout for that. Of course, more great columns from the rest of the staff, myself, Doug Barrell, Christina Marston, Joshua Searles, Anthony DeMeo, Kate Hartford. So definitely be on the look ski for that ski. Sorry, I've been on a bit of a Gallows and Anderson speaking kick today. I'm not really sure what's up with that. But anywho, we definitely encourage you to follow TopRopeReport.com on the Twitter machine, if you have not already. We're on there at TRR Wrestling. I am on Twitter also, at TRR_EAmes. That's EAMES. TopRopeReport.com is also on Facebook. You can find us on there at TopRopeReport.com with no dot. And we use the same handle for Instagram, So check us out on there as well, at TopRopeReport.com, no dot. So go ahead and also subscribe to the show. Check out past episodes of Top of the Morning, including interviews with Jake the Snake Roberts, referee Tony S. of the Check in the Boots podcast. We've got pay-per-view prediction shows, and you can definitely expect more of that coming from the Top of the Morning podcast in the future. I have another great interview lined up here for you in the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to give anything away. You'll have to keep listening to check that out. So as always, we're going to get out of here. But just remember, friends, it's not how hard you get knocked down. It's whether or not you can kick out.